SUVs are all the rage these days, but small cars remain the most popular type of vehicles in Australia.
That's right, Danny. So that's why we've assembled 4 of the leading contenders to find out which one has the biggest name in small cars. We've got the 2 best sellers, the Toyota Corolla and Mazda3, along with 2 all-new rivals, the Subaru Impreza and Holden Astra.
While its big brother, the Hilux Ute, may have become Australia's best-selling new car in 2016, the Toyota Corolla remains our most popular small car. It's been a favourite for decades, but now it faces stiffer competition than ever before. We're testing the SX model that sits in the middle of the range.
The Corolla has a 1.8 litre 4-cylinder engine, which is the least powerful of the 4 cars we're testing here. And it feels it. It's not necessarily a slow car as such, but the Corolla does feel a little sluggish at times, a fact not helped by its CVT gearbox, which can be a little doughy off the mark. And that's really the story of the Corolla. It's not a bad car, but neither is it a particularly great one. It doesn't actually set the benchmark in this class really in any meaningful way in terms of driving dynamics. Against its 3 rivals here, it's noticeably a bit noisier, and the suspension tends to jar over sharp edge bumps more than its rivals. But it's actually a fairly, easy car to live with around the city. It's agile to drive. The reversing camera is pretty good when you need to park, and there's pretty good visibility at the front, although the back is hindered a little bit by that really large pillar around the boot. But actually all of the cars here have that. It just seems to be a modern design trend.
The interior presentation isn't the best in this group. The design is busy and some of the materials look and feel a bit cheap. But the Toyota makes a tempting value argument by being the cheapest car priced from $26,000. For that you get 17-inch alloy wheels, navigation with live traffic updates, Bluetooth and a reversing camera, to name a few highlights. However, what is missing is the latest in active safety. Forward collision warning, autonomous emergency braking and lane departure warning are only available as part of a $750 option pack on the SX, which blunts its value in this contest slightly. The Mazda3 has been Toyota's closest competitor in the sales charts over recent years and started 2017 as the best new selling model in January. This current model has been on sale since 2014 but had a midlife upgrade in 2016 to improve on a few key areas. Our test car is the mid-range Touring specification, which is priced from $27,290 for the automatic, making it the most expensive of this quartet.
As Danny said, the 3 has had a facelift, but it is very much a minor nip and tuck. But really, that's totally understandable because the Mazda 3 is still, after a few years on sale, one of the most popular small cars. So why mess with a winning formula? So what is that winning formula? Well, the 3 is pretty much just a good car. It's a good, solid car in pretty much every key aspect. The engine isn't that powerful. It's only on par with the Subaru. But the 6-speed automatic transmission, well, it does a bit better job than the CVT. So it feels a bit quicker at times. It has a bit more go off the mark. To drive, the chassis as well, as you expect from Mazda, a brand with a zoom market in line. It's pretty sporty for a small hatch, that doesn't have any real pretensions to being a hot hatch. This is just your standard run-of-the-mill car, but it actually feels quite dynamic. What is slightly disappointing about this updated 3 though is there was a lot of talk of improving its weakest area, which is the noise. It's quite a noisy cabin. And without really driving the 2 cars back to back, I have to say it's hard to tell a real difference. It still is one of the noisier cabins of this group we've got here, which sort of does detract a little bit from what is otherwise a pretty polished small car.
Inside the 3, not much changed with the update, with the same simple but functional layout. The steering wheel is new and there's now an electric handbrake. The CD player has been ditched, however, to make room for more USB ports favoured by modern buyers. Disappointingly though, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are still not available. The most important new addition, however, is Mazda's decision to make its previously optional safety package standard on the Touring model. That means the 3 comes equipped with autonomous emergency braking, blind spot monitoring and rear cross traffic alert. But the biggest downside of the Mazda 3's interior is the space, or rather the lack of it. The rear seats are by far the tightest in this group, making it the least practical. Subaru has high hopes for its all-new Impreza. It's built on its new global platform that will underpin all future models. Everything about the Impreza is new, not just what's underneath, with fresh, more sophisticated styling inside and out, and an improved engine.
There are a few real standout elements with this new Impreza. For starters, the way it drives. They've really produced an excellent chassis. The underpinnings of this car really are a good sign for the future of Subaru, because this drives with a real sure-footedness, and it's actually got quite a dynamic edge to it for a small car. It really is one of the best small cars in terms of ride and handling, not just of the 3 cars we've got here up against it today, but generally the whole class. It is somewhat let down by the engine because it's only got a modest amount of power, although it is on par with the Mazda 3, so it's got adequate performance. It can struggle at times when you call for a burst of acceleration or off the mark, and a big part of that is because of the CVT gearbox. It's just not quite as punchy as the Mazda 3's more conventional auto. Perhaps the real standout element of the new Impreza is the refinement. This has got to be one of the quietest and most refined and most comfortable small cars on the market today. It really is a huge leap forward for Subaru, a massive leap ahead of the old Impreza.
Subaru's overhaul of the Impreza includes its value. The 2.0i Premium model we're testing here is priced from $26,490 and comes generously equipped. 17-inch alloy wheels, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto navigation, and the premium 8-inch infotainment system are all standard. The Impreza is only one of these 4 to have a sunroof included in the price. And on the safety front, Subaru fits its eyesight system across the range, which brings autonomous emergency braking and adaptive cruise control to make a strong value argument. It's been an unusual start for the all-new Astra. Despite winning positive reviews, sales were so slow, Holden cut prices across all models after just a month of sales, which makes this Holden's best shot in recent years of becoming a major player in the small car market again. We're testing the mid-grade Astra RS, so does it stack up against the competition?
The Astra's ace up its sleeve in this contest is its engine. The 1.6 litre turbocharged unit produces 147 kilowatts, which makes it comfortably the most powerful of this quartet. However, at the moment you can only buy this RS with a manual transmission, which is a big turn-off for the majority of small car buyers that prefer the 2-pedal layout. But the Astra is about more than just sheer power. It's actually quite a quiet cabin to be in. Dynamically it feels quite a capable machine. It actually feels pretty sporty. Again, all these cars have that element of sportiness to them to various degrees. But it's about more than just power. The new Astra, well, it impresses on the road, the way it handles, the way it rides. It's really quite a quiet car. It feels quite sophisticated in this class. Ultimately, it's probably not quite as quiet as, say, the Subaru, but it's still a very pleasant small car to be driving around in. The only caveat to that is parking in the city is a bit of a hassle, because the reversing camera, it's not so flash. It's quite a low resolution display, and the actual image is quite low, so it actually can be a little bit tricky to use at times, which is a bit of a downer because the rear visibility is again a bit of an issue in this car.
The Astra impresses inside, however, with the most generous room of this group in the rear. The RS model we're testing is priced from $26,240 for the manual, but when the automatic version arrives in March, it will start at $27,240, which still undercuts the Mazda, if only by $50. For the money, you get 17-inch alloy wheels, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, keyless entry and ignition, and automated parking assistance to help make up for the poor camera. It also includes autonomous emergency braking, lane keeping assist, and blind spot monitoring. So Steve, there are 4 good cars here, but I think we can agree there are 2 that really stand out.
Yeah, there's a reason why the Mazda 3 is such a sales hit, but with the new Impreza, Subaru has produced a car that is, in almost every way, its equal. Crucially, however, Subaru has actually outdone Mazda in terms of cabin refinement and space. There really isn't much to split these 2 cars in terms of how they drive, thanks to Subaru's vastly improved new chassis. But the Impreza's quieter and more polished cabin and more spacious back seats make it a winner in this contest.